Hello and welcome to a new episode of the International Journey. My name is Mohammed, your host, and me and my partner Amadou will be talking to you a little bit about the current situation of international students with these new laws that were given to us by immigration. Some of the key things that we'll be covering in this video are go over again in this message that was sent to every international student or every institution by the immigrations, and we will also talk to you about what schools are currently having opportunities like full in-person classes or hybrid classes, so that if you're looking for a university to transfer to, you will have the right resources on your fingertips. Let's go. All right, before we really get going into in depth in this episode, I wanted to give you a recap of what the ICE letter said. So basically, the previous rules before coronavirus were an international student couldn't take more than 3 credits online. So basically, you have to take all your classes in person except for like one class. And after the coronavirus happened, basically the end of spring semester and summer semester, students or international students were allowed to take more than 3 credits online, or pretty much all of their classes online. But the current situation with the ICE letter, it is addressed particularly to the upcoming fall semester. What it says is like, you cannot take all your classes online. Again, I repeat, you cannot take all of your classes online. So either you do a hybrid, meaning you take some classes online and some other ones in school in person, or you take all of your classes in person if it's possible, if there's any university that offers that, but you cannot take all of your classes online. So what that brings back to us is basically either you find a school that does that, or you go back home if you want to take all your classes online. So the key takeaways for this new ICE law is, if you are an international student who currently know that your school will be providing only online classes, one thing you need to do if you want to stay in this country and keep your education intact is you need to start looking for a university to transfer to. I know it's really crazy. As an international student, you have like limited resources to do X, Y, and Z, but this adds an extra barrier to your international journey. But anyway, that is what we have to deal with right now. And if you want to stay in the country, like I said previously, and take classes, you have to start looking into what school you need to transfer to and get a hybrid or like a full in-person class. As of today, 65% of institutions have said that they are going to have in-person classes, 14% said that they will have hybrid classes, and the rest, it's a mixture of either online classes or they currently do not know what they are going to do. It has been proven time and time again that the international student body makes up some of the best and brightest students in the student population in America. And by letting these people return home or go into different places, the US loses the competition to some of the biggest nations in education. For example, Canada. Students, if they do not have the chance to come back to the US, would probably go to Canada or China or Europe or some other places. So the US loses a huge amount of talent that they could have brought up in their universities. This decision of ICE has some huge impacts in not only the international student community, but the current American economy. Overall, in 2018-2019, NAFSA has published numbers that international students bring up to the American economy more than $41 billion a year. So this is like a huge loss. Other than the consequences that the United States itself suffer from pushing these students back home, there are other consequences that students themselves will face due to these decisions. Some of those consequences can be the huge time difference between some other countries and US. For example, if you are in China, you might be in a location where the time difference with your school can be almost 12 hours. That's like half of the day, of time difference. So it can be very challenging for someone to be able to juggle this time difference and be able to do homeworks on time, submit assignments, or even learn at the right pace. Another consequence that international students can suffer is a lot of international students that do come in the United States come for grad school or doctorate degrees, and those people need to run research. It is very hard to run research online. I bet you all know that. And third level of consequence that can happen or that can affect the international student community is some international students come from countries where the internet or electricity or some other sorts of conditions are pre-existing on those countries, and it can be very challenging for them to be able to study, learn, submit assignment, and do all the things that they needed to do as international students that were living in the US. Thank you very much again for tuning in with us. This was like an emergency episode that we needed to do to make sure that we share all the important information that we know about this current crisis with the community. If you have friends that are currently going through things like this and are in institutions that do offer only online classes, please reach out to them. Tell them about this resource if you think it was helpful. Also, make sure that you share any information you have with us or with the community in our Facebook page. We will link it down below. We also have conducted research to see what institutions are currently offering hybrid or in-person classes. We'll be compiling that into a PDF that we will try to upload in our Facebook page or hopefully somewhere down this video. Thank you again. Thank you for tuning with us and hope to catch you in the next one.